About this bike, when it ships from East Coast to West Coast, there's an elevation difference there. And you may be familiar with this, and don't mean to insult your intelligence with this video, but you're going to have to adjust this carburetor when it gets out there. Like right now, it's set to run here, but it'll either be too rich on the West Coast or it'll be too lean on the West Coast because of the elevation difference in that fuel. So you might know enough about it to adjust it, or you might have to take it somewhere to adjust it, but it'll just be a matter of a few minor adjustments to get that thing set. But I just want you to know that when you ship them coast to coast, or actually north and south, you got to readjust your carburetors. There's no way around it, and I can't preset it because I don't know your elevation. Timing cover is here. It's got all electronic ignition system in it. It's programmable. It's got like 6 different settings for your RPM gauges. Jerk these 2 screws out, this cover comes off, and there's an electronic digital pad in there with switches on it. Now it's preset right now for this engine because this is about 120, 125 horsepower drag engine. So it's preset now. That damn beeping's driving me insane. Rear brake system. Springer front end. That's technically all there is to it. There's not a high beam, low beam on your headlight. It's either on or off. There's not a high beam, low beam on it. It's wired in direct to that key switch where I showed you a while ago. Can't really think of anything else to go over with you. That's the new bars. That's the bars on it. Get a shot of the bars. That's the bar system on it that you wanted on it. These bars are rolled up about an extra 10 degrees because even your controls are rolled up about an extra 10 degrees because when you cut the wheel, come around the front, Lee. Sitting on the bike, pay attention right in this area with the video. When you cut the wheel in this thing, you'll notice the clearance issues. When you switch to drag bars on a tank that's this wide, you have to roll them up to have this clearance. There's no way around that. Same thing when you go the other direction. When you cut the wheel this way, like in park position, when you park it, and you always cut your wheel to the left, you have very, very little clearance. So that's why these bars are rolled up, to be clearance on your tank. Another thing, I want you to understand how this system's mounted on here. If you can zoom in right here, Lee, you'll see a line. These top pieces are like a nut to a bolt. They just thread off. These thread off, then there's 2 bolts that hold this handlebar system on. Just looking at it, it's kind of hard to tell how it's all put together. You just basically grab a hold of these and you can unthread them like a bolt and they'll thread off. And then there's 2 bolts that hold that on, handlebars come off, and there's 1 big bolt that holds this section into your springer. It's just a nice, clean, hidden, no bolts in view. It's kind of hard to understand how to take it off if you don't know how they work. Technically, that's it. I'm going to fire it up a time or 2. And we'll close this thing out. I'm going to ship you your title, bill of sale, and the keys with a keychain. I'll ship those out to you after the bike's picked up tomorrow. I'll package it all up and send it probably next day aired or something on priority mail or something like that. But I'll get it all to you. They're supposed to pick it up. Allied Transport's picking the bike up tomorrow, early afternoon. So Monday evening or Tuesday morning, I'll ship everything out to you. Oh, thank God that beep's over with. Alright, we're going to fire it up, turn your fuel on. Always turn your fuel off. Anytime you park this bike, turn your fuel off because it works off pressure and it will flood itself out if you leave the fuel turned on. So you turn your fuel on, you take your key, click back 1 time, that way none of your lights are affecting your battery. Then you have this button over here on the starter, and you just basically, you got to just push that button all the way in. turn it back off. I'm going to angle it so you can get a video of the other side where the push button starter actually is. You'll be able to see that starter right there. Okay. Fuel on. Click your key back, one click. Right here's the starter button. Big chrome button right on the end of the Bendix, right on the end of the starter. Just give it just a one time real quick hit on the gas and anytime you park this bike, John, cut the bars to the left. It will not park with the bars to the right. The 23-inch front wheel and that 360, it leans too hard. It pulls it over. So you gotta always cut it to the left towards the kickstand. That puts all the weight on the kickstand. Technically, my friend, that's it. If you've got any questions, you'll have my number. Give me a call. Just kind of a quick owner's manual for this thing is the best way I could come up with to go through some of the oddball, different, unique things about the bike. One more quick thing I just thought of is on your exhaust, that's a high heat paint, you know, flat black, high heat paint. My intention was to heat wrap those for me. I didn't wrap them because a lot of people hate wrap. So that's just a flat black heat resistant paint. That's something you can actually just touch up with a bomb can if you need to, because it's like something you'd paint a barbecue pit or something like that with. That way if you ever scuff it or scratch it or you try to put chrome covers on it or whatever, you can just touch it right up with high heat paint. Same thing on the cover, the hydraulic clutch cover. I did that because the exhaust system comes out right beside of it, and you would never be able to keep that thing actually chrome or polished. So we just high heat coated that as well with flat black. Other than that, man, you got about 3.5 gallons of gas, run about 3 gallons in it. It's got a crossover tube, so it'll keep everything balanced on two sides. It's one gas tank, but it has a real high tunnel in the middle. So it's got a crossover tube on the bottom. Got a crossover tube on the bottom right here, which keeps both sides level as it comes down. Of course, here's your oil filter. You'll need to change your engine oil. It's got fresh oil in it, but when you run 50 to 100 miles, because you're breaking this engine in, about 100 miles, change that oil again. The drain plug for your oil tank, where I showed you here on the in the frame system, the drain plug is on the very, very bottom of the frame, right? Straight down the bottom of the oil tank. If you get underneath it, there's a little plug up underneath there that'll drain the oil out. And then the oil filler tube is up underneath your seat. There's a, you have to get down here to get that, but see that cap right there? Just jerk that cap off, and that's where you fill your oil up. I've got a little funnel with a tube. Put a funnel on the tube, goes down, that's how you fill your oil up. It'll run about 2.5 quarts. That's what it holds. So that's it, man. Got anything else? Give me a call. I'll get her shipped out of here. I'll send you copies of all the pictures. We just did a photo shoot with it, just real quick. Run a bunch of pictures all the way around it. I'll send you a disc of that as well. So, good luck, man. Appreciate the business. Talk to you later.